is a genuine, legitimate picture.
What is your source?
Are you seriously arguing that babies weren't killed?
No, I didn't say that.
Well, what are you saying?
I'm saying, give me a source.
Yeah.
You know full well you've been fired from the Daily Mirror for fake images. So you know full well about the
I didn't accept they were fake.
What? Yo! He flipped it and said you were fired for the Daily Mail for posting fake images. Okay, he is like, this is like, black belt, fifth dawn levels of debate pervertry. All right, let's start with this one
the crisis
first.
In Israel, this powerful emotional analysis made headlines around the world. 5 million people have watched that interview so far, a measure of the enormous emotion and division this conflict has awoken. Well, among those viewers was Mohammed Hijab, the controversial pro-Palestine influencer with nearly 1 million YouTube subscribers of his own.
I don't know enough about this Mohammed Hijab dude, but I do know some of his followers have consistently tried to get me to debate him on Islam. I'm not familiar with him, but he's like super. He's like a really religious Muslim guy, right? I don't know. I mean, I know he's just like he's the final boss of Muslim debate lords. I know that. And I feel as though he's a good debater and a debate lord. Yeah, I think he is a debate pervert of sorts. And also, I think he might be a bit conservative as well. But I'm not, like I said, I'm not very familiar. He's an Andrew Tate fan and went to the Muslim Scottish First Minister for saying gay sex isn't a sin and said he's excommunicated. Yeah, that's all I need to know. Okay, charlatans all around. Now, obviously, I'm giving that introduction specifically because I don't know his background, but I suspect he will do a decent job of defending Palestinians here, regardless of my own personal difference in agreement in the way that he views the world.
Here's what he had to say about it.
Piers Morgan, on fair grounds, would try and speak to me about an issue like this, or Ben Shapiro, when they know what I'm going to come with. Absolutely not. Don't pretend you don't know who I am. You've been watching my videos. You know what I'm about. Your silence is deafening, and your cowardice is apparent.
Well, Mohammed Hijab joins me now. Mohammed, thank you very much for coming in. I hadn't actually...
I'm a Muslim and not a fan, but not because he's conservative. Why are you not a fan of Mohammed Hijab?
actually watched your videos. I have now. I've watched a few of them. I'm aware you've got a massive following. You've got nearly 1 million YouTube subscribers. You're an influential person.
He's a big YouTube guy.
And you have a lot to say about this issue, obviously. So I thank you for coming in.
Four Lions is hilarious, yes.
I don't have a horse in this race. I think I've tried to straddle a divide of being fair-minded with all sides. I've had all voices on the show.
I commend you for that, actually, to be honest, for bringing me on. But do realise I did caveat that with on fair ground. So let's hope that this interview is conducted.
I intend to be completely fair.
Yeah, sure.
I promise you, because all I want to get to here is a real sense of what is going to happen. We can all look back at. We can all look back. Let me just. We can all look back.
Before that, Piers.
Yeah.
Sorry, if you want to say fair grounds, you introduced me as a Palestinian controversial.
I actually corrected myself.
Right. So
I said pro-Palestinian. I meant to say pro-Palestinian.
So why did the word controversial come into play?
I think you're controversial.
So are you.
Yeah, I wouldn't deny
So is
that.
the ambassador. Why didn't you introduce her in that manner?
I'm happy to say that to many people, her views would be controversial.
So why didn't you introduce me as the Oxford graduate?
Do you want to be introduced as that?
Yes.
Okay, or an Oxford graduate.
Go ahead.
He's such a fucking debate lord, dude. He is. He is an actual debate pervert, dude. What you are seeing is like final boss of debate pervertry type debate shit, okay? God damn. He just came in and immediately was like, well, you know, you didn't fucking properly accredit me. You are, oh God, he is the final boss. He's the final boss and he fucking knows it, dude. He's just like, yeah, I'm a debate pervert.
No problem. You can be introduced as anything you like, frankly. It makes no difference to the debate.
Let them fight, dude. Let them fight.
When you heard about what happened on October the 7th?
I was at home.
What was your reaction when you heard?
I was actually very sickened by it. And this is something I do want to put on the table because I think it's fair for people to know this. In our religion, we do not believe, okay, as a Muslim, I am a Muslim, and I do not believe in the killing of any man, woman, or children, non-combatants. That is not despite the religious teachings. That is because of the religious teachings. So in terms of condemning Hamas and just jumping straight into it, I condemn not only Hamas, but any other entity, okay, wherein it's proven that this has been done, that the killing of combatants has been done. Therein, I condemn any party that does it. Any party that kills people or strikes at people where it's more
Brave take, by the way. It's always such a funny thing whenever people go. It's always such a funny thing when people are like, "Do you condemn the killings?" It's like, what? Of course, dude. What is this conversation? Like, yes, dude. What? Did you think I was gonna be like, nah, dude, that shit was fire? Like, what do you think? What is the expectation?
More probable than not that it will hit a civilian target, I condemn them. And that's why I condemn the IDF. Because when they strike, they know that it's more probably than not going to hit civilian targets. They know that the majority of civilians, or the majority of people that are going to be affected, are civilians. We know that from the various operations that have been conducted. We know that because now in Gaza you find that there is a blockade, as you know, for 17 years, but also they're stopping them from electricity, water, which is a war crime under Geneva 4 of the Geneva Convention, Protocol 4 of the Geneva Convention. So this is something I'm surprised you didn't actually mention to the ambassador.
Well, I did mention it.
You didn't say it's a war crime.
Well, I think it's an arguable point whether it's a war crime.
Okay, let me ask you now then.
They are saying Israel, at the moment, Israel is adamant they are not breaching war crimes, right? It will be determined.
But if we could,
well, it will be determined whether that's the case.
No, sorry.
What is it?
That's incorrect.
Wait. Arguable? Yo! White phosphorus is arguably not a war crime. It's arguable that bombing a hospital or the UN food depot is a war crime, or 1,000 dead babies is a war crime. Dude, British people have no fucking leg to stand on. I am losing it, dude. God damn, dude. The fucking Angloid brain is a phenomena that must be studied, okay? It's like you can put on the fucking suit, but everyone knows you're an animal, okay? Everyone knows your lies. Everyone knows. I hate this fucking hoity-toity way of just like dancing around the psychopathic bloodthirst in an effort to try and justify 1,000 dead babies, brother. What the fuck?
Right. Well, Mohammed, let me make a point to you back on that.
I have to pee.
Surely we can agree
Fuck.
that what happened on October the 7th was a war crime. I mean, when people are taking grandmothers and executing them, kidnapping young children, when they're killing babies in their cribs, we can agree that's war crime, right?
Okay, babies.
Can we?
Surely, of course, 100%.
Right.
But babies in the crib. Sorry, what was the evidence for that?
You don't believe that happened?
Sorry, CNN, the White House, Sky News, which you work for, all say.
I don't work for Sky News.
Well, your thing.
I did work at CNN. I saw one reporter who retracted it because she wasn't sure about the source.
It's unconfirmed by the White House.
But then the Daily Telegraph and the Jerusalem Post and other sources then did publish pictures,
CNN,
which indisputably show babies have been killed.
No, it showed one baby who's been charred, and that picture has been put up on Twitter and has been refuted by many people saying that it's actually AI.
That's completely untrue.
That is true. What's your source? What's your source?
There's been a thorough investigation into the claim that was put up there by some rogue person on Twitter that it was AI. It has been completely disproven.
Okay, let me ask you a
question. That picture, which was published on the Telegraph, is a genuine, legitimate picture.
What is your source?
Are you seriously arguing that babies weren't killed?
No, I didn't say that.
Well, what are you saying?
I'm saying, give me a source.
Yeah.
You know full well you've been fired from the Daily Mirror for fake images. So you know full well about the
I didn't accept they were faked.
What? Yo! He flipped it and said you were fired for the Daily Mail for posting fake images. Okay, he is like, this is like, black belt, fifth dan levels of debate purgatory. Immediately attack your interlocutor with like deep cuts that also pertain to the argument that you're trying to counter. I was going to say, what a stupid thing to fucking argue on. Like, baby still died. Okay? It literally doesn't matter. It's just, I hate that. I hate that is like always a point of contention because like it only makes you seem like you're defending the position. And that is the design of this argument. It's supposed to make you look like you are saying, no, babies didn't die. It's to make the people watching feel like you're literally saying those babies weren't burned or those babies weren't killed, okay? And the reality is they were, Okay, they were. So there is no point in talking about their method of decapitation. Like, were they decapitated or were they killed and then burned? It does not matter. They're still dead. Okay, and it's like, guess what? Babies get decapitated when they fucking are underneath rocket fire as well. Okay. It is not the method of decapitation or the method of death that is the problem. It's the fact that babies are dying is the problem. Saying source in that circumstance doesn't make you look all too great, in my opinion.
Exactly. The UK government did.
Yeah, they did.
So,
Because the UK government, just to be clear, had waged, in my view, an illegal war in Iraq.
So you're allowed to go against the government, and I'm not allowed to go against the Israeli government?
Of course you're allowed to.
So tell me now, what's the source?
You seem to be making a lot of presumptions about me, Mohammed.
Yes, because you had softball questions for your ambassador of a great
No,
friend.
they weren't. I put all the questions to the ambassador. I was editor of the Daily Mirror when we opposed the Iraq war on the grounds that I believed it was an illegal war.
Yeah.
I still believe that to this day. I think it stained this country.
Fantastic.
I don't think you even knew that.
I did know that.
Right.
But that's not the point I was making. I was making the point that if you're allowed to go against the government in their classification of an image, then if you have pro-Palestinian activists who are saying, actually, we need to see a source, shouldn't they be entitled to that?
The Daily Telegraph published on page 3.
Should they be entitled to that, yes or no?
Talking about, the Daily Telegraph said they had independently verified the picture, Mohammed.
No, excuse me.
If you're saying that their verification is wrong...
No, excuse me. Primary source in academia... I know you've done a journalism degree, which is, frankly, it's not relevant to what we're talking about here anyway.
Probably is to journalism, yeah.
No, it's not to this conflict, but we...
See, dude, really? Out of 22 minutes, 6 minutes should be this kind of back and forth. This is not cooking. This is stupid. Israeli babies died. I don't like this. This is why I never talk about this shit. Like, I think for a different time and a different place, it is important to make assessments on how quickly information that is unverified, and it 100% was unverified at the time that it reached the president's ears and was said by the president, that in and of itself is insane. That in and of itself is so scary and so fucking insane. Okay? But it does not change the reality that children were slaughtered. Children were killed. This is an unproductive conversation to have, and it only serves one purpose. It is a mechanism to derail the conversation and talk about a back and forth where it looks like you're trying to, it looks like you keep saying, like, I need to see with my own 2 eyes these decapitated children. In this circumstance, if I was presented with this question, this is what I would say. I would say, it's ridiculous. The babies were obviously killed. Children were obviously slaughtered. I am in this business to stop children from being slaughtered, which is why I am here to talk about Israel continuously slaughtering children at this very moment with this particular government's go-ahead. We are supplying them with the weapons to kill children. In a different time and in a different place, you could possibly talk about how quickly information spreads and goes all the way to the president. Proper verification. And the lack of verification that has come since then, where the story went from 40 babies were lined up and decapitated to some babies might have been decapitated or whatever, but ultimately, still, children died. Babies died. We do not like that.
Academics require primary source evidence in order to make it.
The Daily Telegraph said
atrocity propaganda is used to manufacture consent to bomb Gaza indiscriminately, so it is very important to talk about this. Yeah, dude, they would, the British government would have been like, yeah, actually, Israel, you shouldn't bomb Gaza because you know the baby thing is up for contest. It is contested.
The Daily Telegraph said they verified the picture.
That's a secondary source.
Fine. You may say
that's a secondary source.
You may say
that's a secondary source.
Well, you may say you don't think it's genuine. I don't agree with you. But the wider point.
That was my point.
But
I said I want a source. I just want to see the evidence.
I don't know what we're arguing about here. You're not contesting that babies were killed.
No, I'm saying I want to see the evidence.
So why are you picking on the semantics of the veracity of one picture, which has been verified by British journalists? Why are you picking on that?
British journalists are
some
not
example
authority.
that somehow this wasn't as bad as it seems.
British journalists are not an academic authority. You know that full well. You've been fired from Daily Mirror for that very purpose. What I'm saying to you is this: putting this issue to the side. I do
think it's good to keep hammering on how he was fired from the Daily Mail. That is funny. That is the 10-10 retort.
Uses a red herring to move away from the bigger issues.
What red herring?
This is a red herring because already 1,023 children have been killed in Gaza. That's why. And you didn't ask the ambassador that question.
I literally asked the ambassador.
No,
I said 3,000 people have already been killed in a week in Gaza.
Well, you didn't ask her whether she
even listen to my interview with the ambassador?
I did listen, but excuse me.
Well, don't put words in my mouth or say I didn't ask a question.
Let me ask you a question. Do you condemn the killing of those children by the IDF?
I'll tell you what I condemn.
Yes or no?
I'm going to answer your question honestly and truthfully.
Wait, what? Come on. You can't say you condemn that? God damn, dude. God damn. That's crazy. He just has to fucking play that game, really?
I've tweeted about this, right?
Oh, okay.
I think that what happened on October the 7th was one of the worst atrocities I have ever had to read about or watch on
It happens every day in Palestine.
No.
So why do you care about that?
It actually doesn't. It doesn't.
It does actually. Yes.
No.
Wait, what?
The Israeli forces,
I've got the stats for that.
Israeli forces do not go.
Cast-led,
Wait a minute,
protective
Mohammed.
edge. Go and check it out.
Mohammed. Israeli forces.
Cast-led, protective edge.
Israeli forces don't go into Gaza on one day and grab grandmothers and kill babies.
What are you talking about? You're such a fucking delusional moron. Oh my God. Oh, dude, he's about to, I assume Mohammed Hijab at this point is going to turn around and literally put his nutsack on the fucking table because that is such a stupid take. You fucking imbecile. Are you stupid? How do you think an apartheid state works, you fucking dumbass? They literally kidnap children and apprehend them on a daily fucking basis. At times, there have been 150,000 Palestinians that have been apprehended, given whatever the military campaign looks like. That is so fucking stupid. Right now, there is 11,000 Palestinian civilians that are in prison, okay? And approximately, I don't know the exact numbers off the top of my head, I think it's like around 350 of those prisoners that are actually high-value prisoners, as in like, has done shit, okay? 11,000 Palestinians are currently in Israeli prison for crimes like being a fucking 14-year-old who threw a rock, or crimes such as being in the vicinity of a settler in the West Bank who wanted to fucking beat your ass. And also, on top of that, there is another part of this problem. Gaza is a fucking open-air prison. The notion that, like, oh, there's not any sort of unjustifiable kidnappings happening on behalf of the Israeli government is fucking so stupid. There is not a single part of this conversation that makes sense when you make such an imbecilic fucking point. God, bro, the Israeli military arrested a dude literally yesterday. They went into his shop and they said, give me your phone. And they arrested him for saying, for claiming that he had Free Palestine takes on his social media. Get the fuck out of here. The Israeli government is now arresting Israeli citizens for saying things that might harm the morale of the IDF. You are delusional. Over 700 of those prisoners are literal children, some as young as 12. Yeah, there is literally no comparison, brother. You are fucking so stupid. So stupid.
He's in their beds.
Okay.
That's not kidnapping. That's an arrest, though. Fuck you mean that's an arrest? Get the fuck out of here. That is absolutely kidnapping. Unjustifiable kidnapping is unjustifiable arrests are literally kidnapping. There's no legal protection for Palestinians in the West Bank. There's no legal recourse for Palestinian citizens in the West Bank. You are at the mercy of an occupying force that is literally occupying the land that is illegal for them to occupy. Sorry, you should have put that S beforehand before I started popping off on you.
Okay.
And
no, hold on.
Rape and abuse women.
So rape is
I want him to fucking go nutty mode right now, okay? Please.
Any evidence for that?
It's been multiple reports in multiple mainstream media publications. Well, you're going to sit here and deny everything,
No,
right?
no, I'm not denying anything.
You are.
No, I accept that some civilians have been killed. I do accept this.
This is dumb. What is he doing? What the fuck? Dude, the notion that Israel has not done what Hamas did on October 7th every fucking day was the assertion that he made. Okay? Every day. Piers Morgan said, you're wrong. Piers Morgan is wrong.
And I already said
You don't believe any of the reports that women were raped?
No, I didn't say that. I said that it's still to be
Do you
verified.
think they were raped?
No, I don't know. It's like the Russell Brand thing. You said we don't know. We need to see the evidence. So why do you apply two different standards?
I'm saying it's been reported.
When it's Israel, we know they're raped. When it's Russell Brand, you don't know because it's your friend.
No, it's been reported by legitimate news.
Okay, it was a pretty decent counter, but it doesn't matter. I don't like it. I don't like it. It's a conservative counter. I don't like this. See, this is what I mean. It's like, dude, what are you doing? You have the fucking verified facts. I don't like that. I don't like that he's like, oh, well, with Russell Brand, you need evidence, but with, because then you're wrong, because, like, you know, Russell Brand, there's a lot of information. There's a lot of information suggesting that he did do that. So there's a lot of evidence suggesting that he did do that in an incredibly long, multiple year-long investigation that was conducted. So I don't like, it's just cheap. It's a cheap, unproductive way to make Piers Morgan look hypocritical. This is what I don't like about debate lords in general, by the way, because oftentimes it's about like humiliating your opponent. It's about humiliating your opponent and not necessarily the actual point that you're trying to make.
When it's Israel, you know they're raped. But when it's Russell Brand, you don't know.
Them.
When it's Russell Brand, you don't know if they're raped.
There's no comparison between Russell Brand and what's happened.
It's the same thing. It's a rape allegation. Why are you stuttering?
I'm not stuttering.
You are stuttering. You don't have anything to say.
You're contesting every single thing that I'm saying.
Yeah, that's
and I'm
the
saying
point
to
of
you,
an argument.
at the end, 1,300 people were brutally
2,000
murdered,
people have been killed on the other side.
Abused.
2,000 people have been killed on the other side.
I said that to the ambassador.
Okay, but do you condemn that, yes or no?
I don't think
so. You refuse to condemn?
No.
You do refuse to condemn?
Why are you putting words in my mouth?
Because you're not condemning it, are you?
What do you want me to condemn?
Okay, right. Excellent. What do I want you to condemn?
Yes.
I want you to condemn the fact that the IDF, knowing that it's more probable than not, pressing buttons from the sky, killing innocent civilians, 1,000 of them children, that is a war crime and that is not acceptable morally. Just like you condemn the other one. Is it condemnable or not?
I believe, given the scale of what Hamas did on October the 7th, Israel is entitled to
kill children.
No.
Dude, these guys are such freaks, dude. It's not like, oh my God, you're such a fucking monster. You're such a monster. You're a monstrous piece of shit. Oh my fucking God. That's insane. There is no moral leg to stand on even symbolically at that point. What the fuck is wrong with you? That is so psychotic, dude. Like, the reason why I hate the do you condemn Hamas thing at this point is because oftentimes it's just like asked by a person who doesn't give a shit what I say and is just simply being asked, and they're going to still make that inference that I secretly love Hamas anyway. You know what I mean? That's why I hate it. But, like, I've already condemned it 1,000,000 times over. And it's like, you can't even fucking say that it's disgusting that Israel is, like, lasering babies from the sky? What the fuck?
That's not what I said.
Go ahead.
They're entitled to defend themselves with force.
Okay, excellent.
Then the question becomes, Mohammed, it's an interesting debate.
Sure.
If, as it seems to me, you believe too, Hamas are not a force for good, do you believe that?
Well, I think that anybody who kills children...
No. Stay on topic. No, stay on topic. What the fuck? Stay on fucking topic. He's trying to move the conversation back to you. Don't get baited. I think he's going to stay on topic.
Those elements of Hamas who are killing children...
Right, so we can agree. So we agree. So my point is,
your point.
If Israel's purpose is to rid the world of Hamas after the atrocity of October the 7th, how do they do that, given that Hamas embeds itself in civilian areas in the way that it does? Everyone knows that in Gaza.
Okay.
How do they do that in the surgically clean way that you seem to think they should be doing?
Okay, can I say...
How do you not kill civilians?
Beautiful.
I don't like any civilian death.
Do you mind if I answer the question?
I don't endorse any...
Yeah, but he's like, but some of them are going to die. Some of them are going to have to die. So, here, one thing that I mentioned about Mohammed Hijab, okay? One, he did not fucking retort when Piers was like, no, Israel doesn't do what Hamas has done. The evidence is on his side. Of course Israel has done what Hamas has done every fucking day, okay? Especially if you're talking about fucking kidnapping. You are delusional, okay? So that is a ridiculous point for Piers to be able to just like say like that and then not have those words be shoved down his fucking stupid throat, okay? That's insane. That's insane. It is delusional. It is just denial of reality. Okay? Thousands of people are currently unjustifiably kidnapped by the Israeli government. Thousands of Palestinians. Okay? So remember that. Remember that. That's fucking bullshit. Secondly, as far as like, you know, letting him get away with this like, oh, well, some babies are going to be brutally murdered in a way that is not clean by your expectations. Like, what do you mean? What the fuck do you mean? Oh, just some of these babies are gonna die? Really? You think that's justifiable? What are you, fucking psychotic? Imagine if someone went on your show and were like, well, some of those babies had to die because this is a this is a rescue operation. This is a way for people to just fucking defend themselves, and they have to kill some fucking babies. Everyone would understand you're crazy. Everyone, except when Israel is doing it, it is done with the state, with the sanction of the state. And that's precisely why people can't make that same comparison. They can't even understand it. They can get away with just saying this kind of shit.
Civilian death.
Well, no,
Do I
don't condemn it, though.
Hang on.
Yeah.
No, and here's why. Because I support Israel's right to defend itself.
Beautiful.
Now,
can I say something?
No, one more point. So then you can reply.
Sure.
But the question then becomes, what is proportionate?
Okay.
What is a proportionate response?
How many babies? What's a proportionate number of babies to kill?
Don't have the answer.
Excellent.
Because I don't know what a proportionate response to 1,300 murders is. When 260 young people at a music festival, most of them peace-loving people enjoying themselves at a festival, when they get slaughtered by people paragliding in with machine guns, I don't know what the proportionate response is.
Dude, here, man. Some people in Gaza also enjoy music. You know what I mean? They like and enjoy going to festivals too, except they can't because they live in a fucking open-air prison! You fucking asshole! Fuck! Some of those babies that were fucking murdered by the Israeli bombs also probably would enjoy a peace-loving trans festival or whatever the fuck it was, but they can't. They can't. Is that what this is? They have to be able to go to a festival so you can see that they are human? Like, what the fuck is this? Trans music, not transgender, you fucking dinguses. This is crazy.
So can you tell me?
You've spoken for about 2 minutes. You didn't do that with the ambassador, by the way. I'm just showing you're saying fair, but you're not being fair.
I've said
okay, so let me paint a picture.
I will be fair.
Sure.
I'm genuinely interested in what you have to say.
Right, excellent. You're from Irish descent. You know that there was an IRA in Belfast and so on. Okay, so let me ask you a question now. If there was IRA in Belfast and they were occupying council properties and so on, and then we have a plane of RAF going to destroy that council property, destroy all of Belfast, flatten it, as one representative said, Gottlieb. The IDF said that, one of the IDF members said that we will flatten it completely. That's what we want to do. We don't care about accuracy, he said. We care about damage. That's what he said. You didn't question her about that. But anyway, if the RAF were to then go into Belfast and flatten, as the IDF and these guys want to do, if they want to flatten Belfast, with all the white people, I'm going to use the term white, all the white people, council estates living in there, with the excuse that we're doing it because it's proportionate defense to the terrorists. What would you say about that?
Here's what I would say to you.
Is that acceptable or unacceptable?
Here's what I would say to you.
Yeah.
The IRA committed a series of atrocities over...
He's going to be like, yeah, and it's totally fine to kill all of them. Here's what I'm going to say. Yes, bomb the entirety of Ireland. Bomb it until it's a pool for the British. Bomb Northern Ireland. Bomb all parts of Ireland. I'm pompous. Do it. Flatten it now.
Numerous decades. They targeted, in their eyes, military and political targets. They usually gave some form of warning, not always.
Okay.
They
were terrorists.
No, they were terrorists.
Sure.
They never, ever went out one day and committed the barbaric slaughter of 1,300...
Irrelevant.
No.
If they did.
Sorry, it's not irrelevant.
If they did.
No, Mohammed.
If they did.
Here's why it's not irrelevant. They never did.
But if they did,
would
you accept the RAF to flatten Belfast?
There were outrages committed by...
My question is...
By the loyalist paramilitaries too.
My question is,
Here's my point.
If they did, would you think it's acceptable?
They never came close to committing an outrage on that scale.
If they did, is it acceptable to flatten Belfast?
They never went in and kidnapped grandmothers or killed babies in cribs.
Did, is it acceptable or not?
They believe...
Okay, this debate sucks, dude. What the fuck is going on? Why are they having this conversation? Here's the question you have to ask to get your opponent to at least define their boundaries. I hate being a debate pervert, but this is what you're supposed to do. At what level is it appropriate to engage in the baby killing? Okay? Is it one grandmother? How many grandmothers? Is it the kidnapping that allows you to then turn around and kill 1,200 babies? What is the baby killing metric for you? And he's going to say, "Oh, I don't know. I haven't thought about it." And then you say, Yeah, you clearly haven't thought about it because you have no fucking clue what you're talking about. Because you don't have to think about it. Because you don't have to ever think about it. All you need to do is just sit there and go, IDF said this. Or the Israeli military said this. The Israeli government said this. And sit there and act like you're reporting when you're just a fucking stenographer. You're not a truth teller. You're not a fucking reporter. You're not doing any journalism. All you're doing is propaganda and a justification, and a bad one at that, for Israel's blood and soil propaganda as they do their fucking endless bombing campaign in Gaza. Fuck. It's so stupid. What's the exchange rate? Yeah, per baby to grandmother exchange rate. Like, can you work through this math for me? Because I think it's horrifying no matter who's doing the baby killing, but you simply have a moral issue with only one side's baby killings. Give me the math. Give me the genocide math. So at least I can understand it, okay? But make no mistake, genocide math goes in either direction.
They were fighting for better or worse, and I believe for worse, and that's why I'm glad peace was found. They believe they were fighting political and military targets.
I'm trying to bring it closer to home to you.
You're trying to compare apples and oranges.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
It's you that's doing that.
The only comparison that I would say...
it's apples to oranges. You want to know why it's apples to oranges? You want to know why it's apples to oranges? Because he only cares about Israeli citizens. He does not care about Palestinians as human beings. That's why it's apples to oranges. It's like one side is a human, the other side is a barbaric monster child.
So from October the...
But like the irony, of course, is that like this is why whiteness as a concept is so totally and utterly defined as a social construct. Why? There is fundamentally no difference between people living in Israel proper and people living in Gaza when you look at them. If I put a fucking lineup of individuals living in Gaza and individuals living in Israel, you would never be able to figure out who's actually the Muslim and who's actually a Palestinian living in Israel or a Jewish person living in Israel. Despite that reality, we have made it seem like we understand it completely. That these guys are all, they're white. It's not. It's more complex than that. It's certainly more complex than that. And it's the distinction that the IDF sometimes fucks up on when they end up killing a fucking settler that they thought was a Palestinian. You are just as biased and adamant in your views as those you are judging from your high horse. Yeah, when you have no fucking argument, you just attack something completely irrelevant. That's awesome. In Germany, it's been a huge problem. I am not following politics at all, but the cases of immigrants committing crimes and don't get a verdict are all over the news. That's why the right wins. Yeah, got it. I love that you don't follow the news, openly admit that you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, and then go, yeah, and the racist propaganda works on me. All right, let's continue.
The 7th, and what Hamas did is with ISIS.
Excuse me.
It's the only comparison.
Do you mind if let me ask you a question. A Palestinian...
And ISIS were taken...
3 month sub also? Yeah, well, for 3 months, he was like, I don't want to see any of the top of the hour ad breaks. Let's be real. Which comes at the top of the hour, and I don't like it. It's 3 minutes long. I would like to avoid those ads, and that's why I subscribed for $5 or for free with the Twitch Prime. Or I got lucky and got gifted a sub. But you, too, can avoid the top of the hour ad break right now. It's just coming right now. Here it is. This makes me wish you went on Piers, but totally get you wanted to be live at the fundraiser. Guys, Piers Morgan asked me to go on a show, I think last week, but he wanted me to go on a show while I was live. I'm not... If I have the opportunity to go on a show and not disrupt my live coverage, I would do it. But if it's between me going live and giving you 10 hours of on the ground, 10 hours of reporting from the ground at a critical moment, at a critical time, versus not going live that day just so I can go on Piers Morgan and fucking yell at him, I think it's selfish of me to take the Piers Morgan route. That's how I feel about this issue. As much as I would love to go on a show and call him a baboon in a suit, I am not going to be able to do that while I am live. I would be down to do that if he would let me do it while I'm live, but this is much more important to me.
Now, by the way, with planes...
Me.
No, here's my...
You didn't do this with the ambassador.
I'm going to finish...
You did this with Ben Shapiro, which you gave the show to him.
No, hang on. I'm giving you plenty of time.
No, you're not.
I'm giving you plenty. You asked about the analogy of a plane flying over and targeting...
But you didn't answer my question.
But that did happen, Mohammed, with ISIS.
Would you accept Belfast to be flattened
wait a minute.
or not? Yes or no?
Wait a minute. It never happened. So the like for like isn't
It's
relevant.
not. It's a hypothesis. It's hypothetical.
It's not. I don't do hypotheticals.
You don't do hypotheticals?
No, let's deal with reality.
Okay, let's deal with reality.
Okay, the reality of 1,200 dead children in Palestine. Let's deal with that reality. Let's hear it.
Ahmed, let me finish. Then you can answer.
You don't want to ask the question.
No. Here's the reality.
The British public can see this.
Here's the reality.
Yeah.
Right? Let's
British
just.
public can see this.
Yeah, they can see it.
Yeah, go on.
They listen to the debate.
Keep going.
Right? For what it's worth, I think it's a good debate to have. Right? These are questions many people on the pro-Palestinian side are having. I get it. Right? But you're trying to compare what happened on October the 7th with the IRA.
No, I'm not. I used a hypothetical
wait a minute, Mohammed.
question.
I'm comparing it to ISIS. And the way that the world in the end dealt with ISIS actually was to use airstrikes. And many civilians were killed.
There's a huge difference
many innocent
between the
people
two,
died.
which you're not- you
They're
don't
not.
Okay, I can't. This is dumb. This is dumb. This is a silly conversation to have, dude. This is what I mean. Debates are unproductive. Just fucking humiliate him and keep going, you know?
You don't understand it because you have no idea of the religious.
What's the difference between what happened on October the 7th and ISIS?
The difference between the Palestinian resistance is the following, okay? Any kind of thing which has Palestinian resistance attached to it, and ISIS, which is a brand of tekfirism, okay, is that ISIS is just one of many brands of tekfirism, which you don't know what it is, which is a kind of excommunication type heresiological Islamic sect, okay? So if there's
it's nihilistic mass murder. That's all they care about.
Listen, I know what you're saying, but I'm saying something else.
You agree with me, don't you?
I do, but of course I do, but you're not understanding what I'm saying, so I'm trying to break it down.
I am understanding what you're saying.
What I'm saying is that anything...
And I'm not anti-Palestinian, by the way.
Sure, please, but...
Over the many years, if you bothered to check what I said about it, I have always tried to shine a light on the plight of the Palestinians.
Allow me to speak, please, because you're just talking over me. The difference between the two are the following, right? Even if we assume that the killing of combatants in most definitions of terrorism is something which brings someone to be a terrorist, okay? I would say that if that is the case, then the state of Israel breaks that threshold and meets that condition. Because why is Israel not a state terrorist? If their highest officials are admitting that we want damage and not accuracy. Answer me this question. Why is the state of Israel, who are illegally occupying Gaza and the West Bank according to international law, and even the ICJ said that, okay, which is, as you know, an organ of the UN, all right? So this is international law. They're occupying, they're seizing, they're bombarding, they're indiscriminately killing, and they're blocking the supply lines. They're using white phosphorus. They're doing what you call mowing the grass, which is every few years, they're killing the Palestinian people. I want to understand what differentiates an Israeli in the sky pressing a button, killing the civilians, from somebody in any terrorist organization shooting the people. What differentiates it?
Israel will say it has a right to defend itself.
So will the terrorists?
Right?
That's what Osama bin Laden said.
And they will.
That's exactly Osama bin Laden's argument.
No, it's not though.
Yes, it is. I read his fatwas.
Hamas aren't defending themselves. Bin Laden wasn't defending himself.
Define defense.
Bin Laden was trying to kill as many of the enemy as possible.
Let me ask you a question. How could it be that an occupier is defending itself in the first place? The notion that Israel is defending itself is as absurd as the notion that the rapist is defending itself from the victim. Because Israel is the occupier.
You haven't asked me.
Hold on. Excuse me, let me finish. Just let me finish. An occupier by international law definition means that they are already in an offensive posture. If they're in an offensive posture, if someone brings you to Piers Morgan, grabs you by the thing, throws you into your bathroom, yeah? You're in your bathroom, you're screaming, and they're eating food, having a good time. One day you come out of your bathroom, you try and fight one of them, who's defending who from who?
Mohammed,
how can you self-defend when you're occupying? Answer me this question.
Let me speak now.
No, but answer the question.
Let me speak.
Answer the question first.
Fine, I'm going to speak.
Yeah.
Let me answer.
Yeah.
I believe that Israel's made a number of bad choices.
That's not answering my question.
Wait, I'm telling you what I think.
You don't answer my question.
Every argument deployed to defend Israel, if substituted with Hamas, would understandably come across as the most insane thing you've ever heard. As a matter of fact, people that didn't even openly say those things, but came close to saying things that could be misconstrued as those things, were roundly and routinely criticized by everyone in the immediate aftermath of October 7, while bombs were already being lobbed on Gaza. Like, the idea that there is The idea that there is any kind of equivalence on this issue is a silly one, okay? Oh, it's just they've made some bad decisions. They made some bad choices. No, they're not making bad choices. They're making good choices. Their choices are good if you think their cause is moral and just. If you think that like ethnically displacing Palestinians from the entire Gaza Strip is a justifiable thing, because that's what Israel's ultimate goal is, then they're making good choices. What do you mean? That's the whole point. They didn't accidentally bomb these fucking children. They didn't accidentally bomb these children because they haven't been doing this as an accident since like 2005. That's insane. This is not a simple miscalculation. It was not a miscalculation 75 years ago when the Nakba happened, and it wasn't a miscalculation, and it's not a miscalculation right now. It is a deliberate choice. If you send me some random fucking college campus communist group's Facebook event, okay, and ask me, Hasan, do you think this is good? Do you think this is a good idea? They're using this attack as a Hamas as a reason to promote their cause. One more fucking time, I'm going to lose my fucking mind. I don't give a shit about your dumbass college campus group, okay? I don't care about this fucking solidarity with Palestine and the occupation room 313 First Student Center, York University Kiel campus group. And if you're not a part of that group, you can't change their messaging. There are people who are making stupid fucking mistakes because they're young and they don't understand. They think they can be fucking callous. They think that they can be callous in their indifference to death. Okay? It is not only immoral, but also it's not something you can do if you are talking about Palestinians. Okay? Those who fight for Palestinian emancipation know that reality. That's why they don't make mistakes like that. If you are advocating for Israel, you can say whatever the fuck you want. Okay? You can literally sit there and be like, well, some babies can die. Some babies are going to die, and that's a problem that, I have. It makes me really sad that babies are dying. If you defend Israel, you can say that. If you defend Palestinians, you should not say that anyway, but if you defend Palestinians, you should never, ever, ever use words that can be misconstrued. And in that circumstance, those guys are fucking saying in your silly ass like Facebook event that they've propped up, they're talking about it as if it's a revolutionary act, and you can't do that. You can't say that. That's it. People will fucking bludgeon you over the head with it over and over again. You mustn't say that because it's not revolutionary to kill children. Okay? It's not. Even if you are indifferent, however, to baby killings, which is a ridiculous thing to say. Even if you're like, the baby killing stuff is like morally gray. Even if that's your perspective, there's only one side's baby killings that are deemed appropriate. The only type of baby killing I'm on board with is at the Planned Parenthood, baby. You know what I'm saying? Hasan, why won't you admit that Arabs have always started the violence? Dude, holy fuck. God damn it, dude. People can't even start the conversation normally. Look, Hasan, why do you never admit that the Arabs have always started the violence and then they cry the victim when they lose? They rejected the original 1948 partition and declared war and then cry victim. Yeah, it was really fucked up that the Arabs cried victim when they were being raped inside of the villages with the British and Zionist forces side by side. It was so fucked up when those Arabs were crying victim. My man said since 1948. Yeah, it's like it was like a soccer game, actually. They played soccer and they lost, and that's what happened. No, man, lives were lost. You know what I mean? And ethnic displacement occurred.
Telling you what I think.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay? I don't think Israel's been perfect at all, right?
You said they had the moral high ground.
I think a lot of the decisions Israel's taken are wrong. I think Benjamin Netanyahu, by the way...
He's using U.S. Senate filibuster tactics to keep them from invading. I'm crying. Breaking. Netanyahu and U.S. Secretary of State Blinken have been in talks for 7 hours. Blinken's like, if I keep talking... every moment that I keep talking, a Palestinian child is not being destroyed by tanks. No, the real reason why they're probably talking is because Iran has started increasing its sentiment, increasing its messaging, and it started saying shit. So that's probably the real reason why they're talking right now. Netanyahu tells Putin in a phone call, Israel won't stop its Gaza operation until it destroys Hamas's military and governmental capabilities. First phone call between them since the war started 44 minutes ago. What could Iran possibly do? One thing to always consider is that the Hezbollah forces and the IRGC are ultimately more experienced in active battle than the IDF is. IDF has special forces as well, but for the most part, it's an occupying force, and it's just doing internal security. Whereas Hezbollah and Iran have forces that have been fighting ISIS, for example. Like they've been fighting in all different kinds of sectors in the MENA region for a very long time. That is an important distinction. Isn't the IDF widely regarded as the best army in the world, douchebag war criminals or not? No, I don't think the IDF is regarded as the best army in the world. I mean, I think they say it's the most moral army or whatever, which is a lie. But the thing that is, in my opinion, preventing Iran from joining, the thing that's preventing Hezbollah from joining and opening up a second front in the war is not because they're worried that they're going to have a hard time against the Israeli forces. It's two different reasons. One, Israel has a policy of just flattening entire civilian neighborhoods and civilian populations, no matter what, regardless. As soon as you are declared an enemy combatant, they will flatten your civilian population. And the thing is, Lebanon does not have enough money to recover from that. Okay, so that's number one. And for Iran, the real fear is all-out war against the United States, because the British Royal Navy and the United States have sent carriers and also, air support as well. The complex situation. Lebanon be egging on. I mean, on the idea of the most moral army in the world is like calling Ted Bundy the most moral serial killer in the world. I mean, yeah.
His attempts to usurp the power of the Supreme Court this year in Israel has been a complete disaster.
Do you condemn them from killing civilians or not?
I do not. I will defend them this week.
Yes or no?
Wait.
Yes or no?
I will defend them this week in defending themselves against one of the worst terror attacks ever.
So you can kill civilians for that?
You can target Hamas.
Can you target? No, hold on.
And if Hamas, the controlling, governing, ruling body in Gaza, hide amongst the public,
this is a false lie.
Members of the public will die.
You're talking about fallacies. This is called the Moat and Bailey fallacy, which is that you're trying to defend one controversial idea by using another. It's Moat and Bailey fallacy.
God, he's such a pervert.
The point is this. I'm not asking you whether Israel has a right to defend itself. We've already said of the logical and legal impossibility. The logical and legal impossibility of an occupying power, according to international law, of actually defending itself, because it's already. Let me finish. It's already in an offensive posture. Now, I'm saying this. If it is the case, you're just saying it's defending itself against Hamas. Is the only way to defend itself against Hamas by dropping bombs in the most densely populated area, one of the most densely populated areas in the world? Is that the only way? It's a false dichotomy. You're creating a false dichotomy. They could do surgery. They can do insurrection. They can go in and they can target.
We're going to take a short break. I'm going to keep you here.
They don't want to do that because they don't want a single Israeli soldier to fucking die in the process, and they do not give a shit. They can do genocide instead, because the world would look on and say, "This is actually fire. This is great. Totally on board with it." That's it. And it's a silly conversation to have because Piers is, one, avoiding the question, and two, saying idiotic things, and Mohammed Hijab, being the debate pervert he is forgetting that there are like 8 other points that he can make in this circumstance. Really? Israel has a right to defend itself? Is that why the open-air prison that it has occupied since 2005, that it bombs regularly, that it controls the fucking electricity and the water and the food into, has stopped allowing food and water and electricity to get into Gaza? You think that's a part of the defensive capabilities? You think that's an adequate defense? You think that's all right? You think that's justifiable? You can't say that that's unjustifiable? Where's your fucking humanity, you piece of shit, you fucking donkey?
I want to finish this. I want to give you the time. I think it's an important debate, an important conversation.
Sure. But you have to answer my questions.
I will. We'll come back. Yeah, but actually you have to answer mine. It's my show. Actually,
I can answer
for the record. You can ask me as many questions as you want, but I'll tell you what I think.
I've answered all your questions.
We're going to take a short break. We're going to come back and we're going to finish with a few more minutes, okay? Welcome back to Piers Morgan says, well, Mohammed Hijab is still with me. Mohammed, we've had a lively debate. I knew it would be a lively debate. This is a very important issue. It's a passionate issue. People on both sides. If I tweet about anything, it doesn't matter what I say. One side, if I'm even remotely sympathetic to them, the other side, poor abuse and vice versa and so on. let's try and cut through it all and get to what happens here. How do we find peace in the Middle East? I've been covering Israel-Palestine since I've been a journalist, 3 decades. And it seems to me we're as far away now as we've ever been. How do you think we get
You'll
to
be
a place of peace?
surprised. Look, even Hamas, some 4 or 5 years ago, they even agreed to the 1967 lines, the borders. And what you have to understand that this cannot be scapegoated on Hamas, because before Hamas's existence, this was still going on. This was going on before Israel's existence.
But do you believe in a two-state solution?
No, I believe in... Look, even Hamas was proposing a two-state solution.
But do you believe in it?
Look, there's advantages and disadvantages. This is different. I don't know. I mean...
No, I do not. I believe that there is no viable pathway to a two-state solution because Israel has consistently used the two-state solution to continue taking up more land in the West Bank. Just say no. I believe in a singular, secular state where reparations are given to Palestinians. Palestinians have a right to return to their home country, and there's equal representation for all citizens, regardless of race, creed, ethnicity, background, whatsoever. Okay? That's it. That is the only path forward. Now, we can talk about the steps to get there, but the first one would be to end the apartheid and end the occupation. Israel has never shown good faith in this conversation. For 75 fucking years, Israel has never shown good faith. Never. The one time a dude who's famous for also doing an untold amount of cruelty to Palestinians directly, Yitzhak Rabin, actually chose to try to start the conversation and negotiate in good faith. Stop saying utopia take. Shut the fuck up. It's not a utopia take. Jesus Christ, how far are we from humanity that, like, me saying everyone having equal rights is a utopian take. Last time someone tried to have a fucking serious two-state solution conversation, it was the guy who's famous for telling the Israeli police to break the bones of Palestinian children, and they killed him. They fucking killed him. And the guys who called for his assassination were literally, have been elected into the Knesset ever since, okay? They have been in power ever since then, pretty much.
It's a difficult one. I'll be
Could
honest
you
with
imagine 2 states next to each other living in peace? Palestine, Israel.
Look, it's a possibility. I mean, as I say, even Hamas was saying that that's a possibility. I mean, this was 4 years ago. But what I want to bring to your attention is that nothing can happen if the international...
It is you. You live in a fantasy. It's more likely finding Narnia to be real. I hate this conversation. You saying it's not likely does not change the reality that that is the best pathway forward. I will never stop advocating for the best pathway forward for all people. What do you mean? That is the goal. If you ask me what should be the goal, I'm going to tell you what the goal is. When you turn around and say, wow, that's delusional, that's utopian, yeah, it feels like that to you because you do not have the audacity of hope. Not to use a Barack Obama term here, but you are so blinded and so cynical about how the world is that you cannot see how the world should be. If you ask me what are the immediate first steps, that's a different conversation altogether. But I love that people are like, oh, dude, you're so utopian. You're so utopian for this take where you say Palestinians deserve equal rights in a singular state. You're so utopian for that take. So what's your alternative? Israel does ethnic cleansing and you just go, oh, I really hate it, but I guess, you know, there's going to be some sick beachfront property there later that I can go visit with all my fucking homies. Because that's what your real perspective is in this situation, right? Like, you don't give a fuck. You live in America. You don't give a shit about these people. You just want to say that you care about Palestinians. But then when you have to actually think about it a little bit about like what the best path forward would be, immediately you're like, well, that's not possible. That's just crazy. So I'll just keep cheering the genocide, or maybe going, oh, I hate the genocide that's happening. So what difference do you have in perspective between you and Joseph Robinette Biden in that regard. You and Joseph Robinette Biden are the same then. He says the same shit too. He says it all the time. He goes, oh man, it's just Israel can't occupy Gaza. It's really bad. You spend months being wrong in your takes. I take your right on the Palestinian take. You're in the right side of history on the matter. Keep educating YouTube ignorant with YouTube vids. What takes does he think I'm in the wrong on, I wonder? Without oddities forming in our ears? What?
Body, or the UN, becomes a toothless agency. In 2018 to 19, when actually 221 people were killed on a peaceful protest in Gaza. It was called the Great March of Gaza. 220 people died. Hamas didn't shoot a bullet. No rocket was launched, yeah? So 220 people died, and this is even mentioned by the UN and these kind of agencies. They tried to bring it up, the Palestinian Authority, they tried to bring this up to what we call the ICJ, which is part of the UN, okay? What happened is the Donald Trump administration, they threatened to freeze the assets of the ICJ, which tells you the following. What are the Palestinian people to do? Because the fact of the matter...
They did not die, they were killed.
If they try and bring it up...
Let me ask you.
Let me just finish the point. If they try and bring it up...
We're running out of time. That's why I'm jumping in.
If they try and bring it up to international law, it's thwarted.
I do think
if they try and do boycotts,
international law matters.
Sure.
I just don't believe that any peace can be achieved with Hamas in charge. Do you?
Before Hamas...
Now, after what happened last weekend.
Forget about last weekend. Last weekend is...
Can't forget about last weekend.
No, it's not. Before last weekend, before Hamas in 1987, this was still going on.
But not on this scale. And
worse.
No, it wasn't as bad as this.
What are you talking about?
What happened on October 7th
sorry, that shows ignorance
was
of
the single worst assault on a populace since 9/11. It was.
Yom Kippur War was 2,600 people died, by the way.
That's crazy. Bro. I'm telling you, it's because it's actually in many ways really easy to debate. At least not like a Ben Shapiro type, but a lot of Israel defenders in Western media, because they will be in awe if you deliver 3 different instances of historically relevant facts, because they don't know. They simply do not know anything. At least Hasbara trolls and Ben Shapiro or Bibi Netanyahu, they at least know what Israel has done, so they have effective counters to justify it. And even then it's very difficult to justify because it's objectively in the wrong. But many people in the West don't know anything. So they're always in awe when you go, what do you mean? So 500,000 people being ethnically displaced and tens of thousands being raped and murdered is not significant? What the fuck are you saying? The very first act of the Israeli nation state and its development was literally 10 times more violent than October 7. This does not justify October 7. But that's crazy to be able to say that. You don't know anything. You don't know anything. It's ridiculous.
73. That's false.
In one day?
In one day, I don't know, about 600 people died in one day.
Mohammed, I've got to leave it there. We've run out of time.